Hello everyone, my name is Alex from Ernest Alex Reads, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of March. In terms of ratings, I had a really amazing reading month in March, although the quantity was significantly lower than what I have been reading for about the past year. I only ended up reading 8 books, which is still a lot of books in the month of March, because I had a bit of a emotional wobble at the end of March because of the global pandemic. But in terms of ratings, like I said, I had a really great reading month. I had 2 5-star reads, a lot of 4-star reads, and no 2-star reads, so we're happy about that. But let's talk about some books. The first book that I'm going to talk about, I didn't give any rating because it is a memoir, and I don't feel comfortable rating people's actual lives. And the memoir that I read in March was Over the Top by Jonathan Van Ness from Netflix's Queer Eye. This is a memoir where they basically talk about their entire life, their childhood, the trauma that they experienced, their passions, and basically tell their life story. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. It really gave me a lot of insight into Jonathan Van Ness and their life. I don't usually pick up memoirs or autobiographies, but I saw this at the library and I really enjoy Queer Eye, so I picked it up. I think the author actually narrates the audiobook of this book, and I think that might have heightened my reading experience, my enjoyment, a little bit, because you can really hear the cadence of Jonathan Van Ness in the writing here. I think it would have been really enjoyable to actually hear their story from their own mouth. Giving this a rating, but I'm glad that I picked it up. In the month of March, I ended up reading 2 books that I gave 3 stars. The first book that I'm going to talk about is I Love You So Muchi by Sarah Kuhn. I Love You So Muchi follows a Japanese-American girl going to Japan for the first time to meet her Japanese grandparents for the very first time and learn more about herself and her family history, and try to figure out what she wants to do with her life after high school. There's also a very cute boy who works at a mochi stand that helps her in her journey, and there's a very cute little romance in this book as well. I really enjoyed this book. I really liked the focus on food and finding your passion and mother-daughter relationships, but at the end of the day, I just thought it was really cute and it was really good, but I didn't have a lot of other emotions about it, so I give it 3 stars. The second book that I ended up giving 3 stars in the month of March to was The Other People by C.J. Tudor. This book is a thriller. I do not traditionally read this type of book, this genre, but I read it for the literary book club that is put on by Kayla over at Books and Lala, and I just thought it would be interesting to be in that book club and kind of explore a genre that I don't pick up. And so I really wanted to know what was happening and how all of the characters were connected. I didn't see any of the twists and turns of this story coming. Other People by C.J. Tudor follows a man whose wife was murdered and his daughter kidnapped, and he is on the search to find his daughter. I ended up giving this book 3 stars because I am not sure how to rate. Like, I don't feel qualified rating thrillers because I don't know a lot about the genre. I don't know if this book is predictable. I don't know if the twists really landed or if it was stereotypical. Like, I don't know what tropes were used in here that maybe are overused. I don't really feel that qualified. So although I really enjoyed this book and was very intrigued and wanted to keep reading, I ended up giving it a 3-star because I was just unsure. But I definitely enjoyed the reading experience. Now on to the books that I gave 4 stars. During my slight emotional wobble at the end of March, I ended up rereading 2 books that I really enjoyed in my childhood. Those were the 2nd and 3rd books in the Artemis Fowl series. That is The Arctic Incident and The Eternity Code. I loved this series as a kid, as a young adult. I really loved the premise. I loved the characters. It follows a Irish billionaire genius and his discovery of the fairy people and like working relationship with the fairy people who have had to go underground because of the human race. Upon rereading it, I was just brought back into all of my feelings. I still really enjoy this series. I think it stands up and it holds a special place in my heart, and I gave both of these books 4 stars. A new to me book that I gave 4 stars in the month of March was Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This is a fantasy series that involves lots of political maneuvering, some angst, some really nice fight scenes, some emotions, and I really enjoyed it. I loved all of the characters. It took me a while to understand or start to understand the world and all of the and the magic system, but I think the characters and the tension in between all of the characters, the threads that are being formed between all of the characters was really nice, and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to continue on in the series. And now on to the books that I gave 5 stars this month. I gave 3 books 5 stars. One book, just because I love it so much, but it's not actually like a novel or a graphic novel. I ended up reading the bind-up of Strange Planet by Nathan Pyle. These little alien comics on Instagram bring me joy daily, these aliens, and so I bought the bind-up and read it all, and I just loved it. I was cackling for the small time that I was reading this book, and I gave it 5 stars. The other 2 books that I gave 5 stars are both by m.k.england. They are a new to me author. They wrote The Disasters that came out last year, and Spell Hacker that came out in January of 2020. I listened to both of these books back to back actually. I absolutely love them. It hit a lot of things that I really like in a book. I'm going to talk about them separately. The Disasters follows a group of would-be students in a elite space academy. They didn't pass the tests to get in, and so they're being shipped back to Earth when a terrorist attack blows up the whole station. They are then the only people in the galaxy who know about this conspiracy, and they have to try to save all of the colonies and prove that they're not actually at fault. This book was amazing. It was set in space. It was a bunch of characters thrown together that become a family at the end. The main character is bisexual. There's tension within the group that I really enjoyed. There's a lot of diversity in this book. It's really amazing. I love the core group of characters, and the book was amazing. I highly recommend. It was so good. And because I really enjoyed The Disaster, I immediately listened to Spell Hacker. Spell Hacker follows a group of friends that steal magic from a huge corporation that apparently saved their city until they stumble upon a conspiracy involving that company and have to go on the run, try to save their planet, and take down this huge evil corporation. The friend group in Spell Hacker was also extremely well written. The banter was amazing. It was my type of humor. I really enjoyed it. Also so inclusive, diverse, and queer, and it made my heart fill up. These 2 books just made me feel warm and fuzzy. I will say that Spell Hacker does involve a pandemic-like sickness, so I don't know if right now is specifically the best time for some people to read it, but I would highly recommend both of these books. And like I said, I gave both of them 5 stars, and m.k.england is now an auto-buy author for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are staying safe and being kind to yourself, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!